Hey guys, what's up? Today I got an OU match. This one is against the guy from Smogon. His name is Jay on John. And here we go. I'm going to lead with Luke because he does have a lot of steel types. He does have two special type Pokemon that I don't want to be dealing with another lead I might have chosen. And I figure Lucario can get a good hit off on, a bunch of his steel types or just switch out to the appropriate counter. I'm fearing the superpower or the brick break, so I'm going to go to Jellicent. He does superpower, which usually means he's choice banded, so I know he's going to switch out. So I'm going to go for the toxic, and that is going to poison his Mienshao, but it's not really that big of a deal because, again, it's Mienshao and it just keeps switching out and healing with Regenerator, so it's not overly annoying. But Jellicent is in here. I'm going to Acid Armor, which not a lot of people do. A lot of them like to carry Will-O-Wisp, which I don't understand why, because you have Skull. I know Will-O-Wisp is a burn when you need it, whereas Skull is maybe a burn, but it's like carrying Discharge and Thunder Wave. It just doesn't make sense to me. If I wanted Will-O-Wisp, I'd probably use Surf instead. And I don't have Ice Beam because I have Toxic, because this is, like I said, has Acid Armor, so I can just build up my defense. My special defense is maxed. So anyone who wants to hit me is really not going to be able to do too much damage, and I can just Toxic you, and if you're Steel type, I got Skulls, whatever. And I can get a burn, and that'll help me kill you faster. Plus, I got, Recover, obviously, for recovering reasons. So I'm going to go for the Skull, just keep going for the Skull. Thankfully, he doesn't have too many hazards. Not that it would have really mattered, but it would have been annoying. So he's going to switch up to Latios. I do get the crit burn. The burn was nice, but the crit, whatever. It doesn't really matter in the long run because he does go for the Surf, predicting me to switch out to a certain Pokemon that would resist the Dragon type move, and that's not going to do a lot because I do just stay in because I know I can take a Draco Meter. Just go for the Recover. I'm counting on him being Specs, and after 1-2, he won't be doing any damage to me, and I won't have to worry about that. He's going to switch to his Mienshao, and I go for the Recover, expecting him to be hitting me with a Draco Meteor. Now I'm going to go for the Scald again as he just keeps U-turning out. By this time, I figure he probably doesn't have like Stone Edge or anything like that, which is kind of unfortunate, but you know what? Meh. I go for the Scald on this Heatran, and it does like absolutely nothing. That and the leftovers lead me to believe that he's kind of bulky, so I'm expecting him to have like Roar and Lava Plume, but he has Toxic, and I'm like, no, why did you have to have Toxic? Because honestly, if he didn't have Toxic, that and Roar, which you'll see later, he does have, I would have basically swept him with a defensive Jellicent. I mean, I know that's kind of possible with, like a Scarfed Water Spouter, but this is defensive, and I almost swept his team with it. But now that I'm Toxic, I know I can't stand here. Despite having +4 defense, I really can't be taking too many turns up because, yeah, he does have Protect as well. I figure he's going to want to switch out here, so I'm just going to go for the Scald again. Unfortunately, switches into his own Jellicent, and he's going to get burned, which means I can't Toxic him, which is going to make this thing a lot harder to kill. But, meh, not a big deal. So, at this point, Toxic's taking its toll on me. It's at 3 turns already, so I want to switch out because I don't want to be wasting my Jellicent's life, and there's not really anything he can do against this Jellicent. Scald's going to do nothing, and I can't Toxic it. So, let's switch out. I'm going to take the Water Pulse, which I'm guessing means he doesn't have Energy Ball, and he probably also has like Taunt and Will-O-Wisp and Recover, sort of the more common set, just not Scald, because, again, you have Will-O-Wisp, you don't need to burn after, so you can get Confusion hacks, and yeah, Water Pulse is weaker. But anyways, I'm going to go for the Dragon Dance. This is kind of a fodder at this point because if I don't Dragon Dance, Latios can kill me. If, if I don't Dragon Dance, a Steel type can kill me. So it's like, I really need to Dragon Dance, even though I know I'm going to get Will-O-Wisped. I just want to be faster so that his Latios can't come in and threaten me out. Because I don't really want to be dealing with Latios. I want him to only come in when my Jellicent is in, so that I can take it and recover. And deal with him that way, let the burn slowly wear away. That or Revenge Kill with something else. So, I'm going to Dragon Dance. He's going to get the burn off, which I suspected he would have. And then Dragon Claw's not going to kill him, but I am going to get Cursed. So, I'm expecting him to think I'll go for the Earthquake, so to want to switch into his Latios. So I'm going to go for the Rock Slide instead, so that it will hit him and not be useless because of Levitate. He's going to switch into his Fortress. Doesn't really matter. Earthquake wouldn't have done that much more damage. It would have done like, well, 33% more. So that's like an extra 30 damage or something like that. Not a big deal. Again, I'm going to keep Haxorus in. He's going to switch out to Scizor. I guess expecting me to switch into... I don't know what, but I am just going to stay in because I'm burned and I'm already at +1, so might as well use that +1 to my advantage because I'm going to die when I switch back in because of Stealth Rocks. I do get a nice chunk off. I do know that Lucario won't be able to OHKO with close combat, but now that he is at around 60-65%, this close combat is definitely going to kill. And that's one problem out of the way. I'm like, Bullet Punch, he could hit me with it, but you know what? Honestly, it's not going to do that much damage. Yes, it's Choice Banded, but I do resist it. And, yeah. So, I'm going to switch out because Mian Xiao is faster, and he has Fake Out and most likely High Jump Kick, but I have not seen it, so I'm not sure. But he does go for the Fake Out here. I go to my Hippowdon because I know I can take the High Jump Kick anyways. I just want to get the Sand Up just to help stall out that Latios and just to be good in general, because, I mean, my Jellicent is already toxic, so he's not going to be surviving too long, so I'm not worried about that. And Lucario Steel type, Hippowdon is obviously Ground type, and none of my other teammates really mind the sand, so I'm not that worried about it. He is going to U-turn, that's going to do really nothing. I'm going to get my Stealth Rocks up at this point, because I know he can't really touch me, even with the High Jump Kick. I still want to get my Stealth Rocks up. I know I can live it, probably would get KO'd by it, but not a big deal. So yeah, Latios does come back in. I am going to switch out back to my Jellicent because I do know I can live with Draco Meteor. If he goes for 2, I'll most likely die, but I don't really care because, again, Jellicent is toxic and won't be doing too much. But he does go for the Surf because, again, I do have something that resists the Dragon type, i.e. my Steel type, but not Lucario, because Lucario would still get destroyed by a Draco Meteor. Or at least 2 it KO'd. And he doesn't want to risk it. So he's going to go for the Surf again. It does nothing to Jellicent. That gives me an opportunity now to be able to get off a Recover. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. He switches into his own Jellicent. I don't really know why, because now he is unable to do anything. He's going to die, actually, so it's like kind of waste of fodder. He could have switched it in on... I don't know. I wouldn't have had much opportunity to get it in and recover. Only like on my Hippowdon as a revenge, quote unquote, kill. So, it's not a big deal. But I guess he wanted to see what I'd switch into because he thought I would. But I knew he'd switch out, so I recovered because get my health up. I know he's gonna go for the U-turn, so I don't want him to get switch initiative. So I am gonna go for the Scald here. I could have went for the Recover. I probably should have, but at this point I know Latios is dead as soon as he switches back in, unless he gets the Rapid Spin off. So I'm going to go for the Scald because he's probably going to want to be having this Fortress in here. So I'm going to go for it, and it would hurt anything else on his team except his Heatran too much. Even though it is super effective, it's not going to do all that much damage, but yeah, it's going to be good damage. And I'm not worried about this Jellicent dying. I know that he can't Rapid Spin while I'm in, so I'm not going to expect him to want to go for it. So I'm going to switch up to my Heatran, who I know can outspeed almost everything on his team except his Mian Xiao, because it's an offensive Heatran. It's actually Spextran, and this thing is ridiculously powerful. You do not want to mess with Spextran. I'm going to go for the Earth Power because obviously he has his own Heatran. And for those playing the home game, this is the Pokemon I kept referring to that would take the Dragon-type move and would be weak to the Surf. So that's why I kept going for it, because Heatran is present and accounted for. I'm going to switch back out to my Jellicent, just expecting him to go for the Fighting move so that he'll crash and lose half his health. Yes, he has Regenerator, but it's still nice damage to build up, and I can get Jellicent in again relatively safely. I know U-turn won't be able to kill me because it's only been doing about 70-80 damage, and I can get a Recover off. And like I said, he doesn't seem to have Stone Edge, and it turns out he doesn't. He has Detect, which is kind of odd, but nah, I guess. I mean, it works with the Toxic Stalling Heatran. He can come in, Fake Out, Protect, or Detect, whatever one it is, switch out, or U-turn out. And that's a bunch of turns wasted. So it kind of works, but I think it would be better if he had Toxic Spikes. So, I don't know. So I do get the Recover off. And I'm back up to quite a bit of HP, even though I am losing it because of Sandstorm and Toxic and all that stuff. Here, I'm like, he's going to protect. I'm like 99.9% sure he's going to protect because he's a Toxic selling Heatran. So instead of letting him be able to protect next turn, I'm just going to take this opportunity to recover. And I know that's not a big deal. So yeah, I am not going to gain all that much HP in the long run because Toxic's already fairly high on the turn count here. It's still better than switching out, I want to say, because, you know, this Heatran can't really do anything to my team, especially since I have a Heatran. And I'm guessing that he doesn't have Earth Power, judging by his moveset so far. I'm guessing he has Lava Plume probably, or maybe Flamethrower, and he shows me there Roar, so I'm like, alright, I got roared into Deoxys. Probably the worst thing I could have got roared into was Jellicent, because that just would have put me back to square one, taking some extra rock damage. But I get knocked into Deoxys, and I'm just going to go for the superpower, because I'm expecting it to kill, and that's just going to let me basically clean up his team, because, again, his Latios is going to die, his Latios, excuse me, is going to die when he switches back in, and his Mienshao, yeah, he can fake out, but also just switch out, and then he can't do anything, and I can just kill it with anything, basically. But he's actually going to live, and I'm like, what? And he goes for the Toxic. I don't really know why. He should have went for Lava Plume or Flamethrower or whatever attack move he does have. And that probably would have been a lot better, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to switch to my Heatran because I know he's going to protect. I figure I can lock myself into Earth Power, and that will kill his two remaining guys. And Latios, who will die on the switch in and will take nothing. He's going to protect. I don't really know why. I guess he's thinking maybe I'll lock myself into something weird and he can maybe live it, but it's just kind of, at this point, a little stupid, especially since I have Deoxys Speed, who can outspeed everything on his team and kill them all. So, yeah, unless he's planning on keeping Heatran in here long enough to gain that much HP back. But, nope, he switches back in and ends up losing all the HP he just gained back with Protect. I don't know, maybe it would have let him live. Maybe that's why he did it. He protected so that he'd have enough HP to survive Stealth Rocks when he came back in. He's going to protect again just to help that vein. But, yeah, I'm eventually going to get the Earth Power off. And now all he's got left is his Mienshao. And honestly, can't really do anything to my Jellicent, so why not switch back to it? See, maybe if he'll kill himself with a high jump kick. Wasn't really expecting him to do that because I did that before. But he's just going to go for the fake out, and that's going to do nothing. He's going to U-turn, but he can't switch out because it's his last, and I'm just going to kill it with a Scald. And yeah, that's the end of the battle. It was quite a marathon match, but I felt it was actually really cool. I played pretty well, and he, you know, it would have sucked to see my Jellicent sweep his team, but I'm kind of glad that he had Roar or Toxic. I mean, most teams, you really do need something to handle setup pokes or, you know, tanks at least. Toxic is good against tanks. And walls, but not too many people use walls on Wi-Fi, especially. I don't know. I think it was a good match. He was kind of embarrassed about how bad he lost. It was a 5-0, but still, I mean, he played well. And there wasn't really any hacks, so it's like, I want to say just sort of team comp, and the fact that he didn't have Stone Edge on that Mienshao really allowed my Jellicent to live for a lot longer than it should have. Especially after I got Toxic. But, anyways, that was the battle. Hope you guys enjoyed. I had fun. Hopefully we can battle again sometime soon, because that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. Anyways, peace out.